What's up everyone, Draenei is here, and welcome to the first video in a series where we're gonna go tackle one of the biggest challenges in modern World of Warcraft. Picking a character, and more specifically, the race class combination. There's dozens of combinations now, and I personally kind of find it overwhelming, kind of like analysis paralysis. So in the series, we're going to break down every class and rank the races for it. I'm not going to do Demon Hunters or Evokers. It's just too small. And starting today with the Holy Warriors of the Light, the Paladin. To rank them, I've developed a formula based on 4 key factors: lore, prominent characters. Since Paladins actually have a unique racial mount, that is also getting included in this ranking. And if any other classes have a unique racial item or mount, etc., that will be taken into account in the future as well. And overall, the 4th factor is just my subjective thoughts, if the fantasy is cool or not. And you will notice that I do have a bit of a preference of some of the original Paladin lore, and the expansion level self-contained lore I kind of find less appealing. Remember, this is just my opinion, and the goal is to help you find the fantasy that clicks for you. Let's get into it. Kicking us off, we have the Blood Elves. So from a lore standpoint, it's definitely one of the most unique ones in the game. Originally, they weren't really starting as traditional paladins, right? They actually were blood knights who seized the light's power from the Naru Muru and eventually gained the story of redemption, realizing that they had enslaved their savior and they had to repent from their arrogance and kind of convert to more of a genuine faith. And I think that that's a really cool story arc for the Blood Knights. Next, talk about prominent characters. Can't talk Blood Knights without mentioning their leader, Lady Liadron, and with her making an appearance in the WoW Midnight Cinematic, it just seems like a really good time to maybe be rolling a Blood Elf Paladin if you don't already have one, or if that's something that you want to explore, now seems like the time to explore it. She really embodies their entire journey, and it's been cool to see her have more of a prominent spot. I personally just played through the recruitment of the Nightborn, and seeing her there was cool because I knew that she's going to have upcoming stuff for the Warcraft Midnight. Finally, talking about the unique mount, the Thalcian Charger. This is like my hot take. Maybe people like it. I don't really care for it. To me, it just doesn't scream Blood Elf. I really want like a Blood Knight War Strider or something. But overall, with the strong lore, Lady Liadron, and just honestly looking good in their transmog, sorry, Tauren. I really feel like they do belong in A tier, so that's where I'm going to place them. Next up are the Dark Iron Dwarves. Of all the established races, their reason for being paladins is up there for being the least defined. While Mora's connection to the light via Anduin exists, there's no cultural movement or historical order of Dark Iron Paladin. They feel less like a true combination and more like a gameplay option that was enabled. And I get it, the Fiery Beards are cool. Not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, is it Paladin though, right? And then following up on that weak lore, there's just not many prominent characters. That, to my knowledge, there's no major named Dark Iron Paladin where the players can really connect with and understand the lore reasoning. So that's also a demerit, as Dwight would say.
Oh, what's this?
That is a demerit.
Oh, I love it already.
You gotta learn, Jim.
From the unique mount, I really do think it is cool. The Darkforged Rams, they're recolor of the Dawnforged Ram from what I can tell. But it really doesn't do much to connect the Paladin fantasy. Like, yes, it's a cool mount. And no, I would not want to see that running against me in the battle. But my thought wouldn't be, that's a Paladin. So with all of that being said, I'm placing Dark Iron Dwarves into my D tier. When you think about Paladin, one of the first images that comes to mind is that Burning Crusade cinematic with that male Draenei with his big crystal hammer, having that tome. Like, that is iconic Paladin to me. So we're talking about the Draenei. And from the lore perspective, you know, their connection to the light is arguably the purest and oldest of any race. They've been fighting a cosmic war alongside the Naru for thousands of years. They are the army of the light. Their lore is foundational to the entire concept of the Holy Light in Warcraft. As far as characters go, characters like Murad and Yrel are powerhouse paladins. Technically, they're vindicators. These characters have had huge roles in the story, especially in Warlords of Draenor. Finally, talking about their unique mount, the Great Elec mounts are solid. They feel weighty and powerful, and when you're carrying around a bunch of male Draenei, you definitely need some muscle. I really think they do fit the Draenei, but I will say Elecs are not my personal favorite mounts. There's nothing inherently wrong with them, it's just not my thing. So, with all that being said, the OG Space Goats are coming in at a solid B tier. So this is an interesting one. I think that maybe some of you guys are going to take issue with where they do land on my list, but let's talk about dwarves. So from a lore perspective, dwarves have some of the oldest paladin lore in the history of the Alliance, specifically Azeroth history, right? Not talking to you, Draenei. They were one of the original races to join the Order of the Silver Hand after seeing the heroism of the knights like Uther during the Second War. Their faith is tied to their love of history, justice, and protecting the kingdom. While they don't have a singular S-tier character, say Uther, you can tell the story of paladins without mentioning that it was the dwarven king, Magni Bronzebeard, who crafted Ashbringer in Ironforge on the Great Am. This was commissioned by Alexandros Morgraine, an iconic paladin, and of course the father of Darius Morgraine. And Ashbringer proved to be a weapon of unparalleled power against the undead. No doubt this could greatly inspire dwarves to join the paladin ranks. Finally, let's talk about their mount. The Dawnforged Ram is awesome. It's a classic, it's sturdy, it fits the Silver Hand aesthetic. It's truly a beaut. So they'll end up joining their Alliance brethren in the Draenei at B tier. I understand the case for A tier, but I would really want to see a more prominent lore figure from them, like in Uther, like in Arthas. That's what's leaving them from A tier, in my opinion. Up next, it's everyone's favorite rock. Sorry, Dwayne. Rocks, plural. Talking to Earthen. And as of making this video, the Paladin lore is pretty much brand new and non-existent for the Earthen. My understanding is that they revere the Titans and the Keepers like Tyr and were empowered with light-like abilities. And I think that there's actually a ton of potential here to explore a different flavor of Paladin, one based on a Titan-forged order rather than a religious faith, but it's just not there yet. With the lore being lacking, you can imagine that there's not a super prominent Paladin, Earthen Paladin, it's just too new, and you can feel the void. Finally, the mount. To me, I mean, maybe the most established part about Earthen Paladins are the fact that they have awesome mounts. The Earthen Ordnance Remolith is really cool. I really appreciate the touches of the hammers and the traditional Paladin colors on them. For me, the newest race to join the roster, the Earthen, are starting out in D tier during the Dark Iron Dwarves. I think that there could be room for improvement here, but that's where they live right now. Alright, next up we got humans. Yes, the most boring race in the game. However, this is the race and class combo that we dream of from a lore and fantasy perspective. They are the Paladins, the Order of the Silver Hand, the story of the First and Second Wars, Arthas' fall, Tyrion's sacrifice. The entire history of the Paladin class is written through the lens of humanity. I mean, characters, right? Uther the Lightbringer, Tyrion Forgrim, Carillion, Arthas Manethil, before the fall.
What is this? What are you doing, my son?
Succeeding you, father.
They have the most iconic, legendary, and impactful paladins in the history of the game, period. What's more classic than the Charger? It's the original. When you think paladin mount, you think of this armored warhorse. It is the undisputed benchmark of paladin mounts. Like I said earlier, overall fantasy, this is the archetype. The noble knight, the champion of the people. They have the best lore, the best characters, and their aesthetic defines the class. For the quintessential paladin fantasy, in my opinion, you can't beat the human. Is there ever any doubt, for me, the S tier is the only place that humans belong on this list. I heard you like Draenei, so what I did was I colored them yellow, gave them some holy tattoos, put them in the oven, and these Lightforged dudes came out. Kidding. But, if Draenei are infused with the Lightforged are the light made manifest. They are zealous. They are the elite shock troops in the war against the Legion. Their entire being is dedicated to the cause. They said, oh, you like Paladin? Let's crank that up to 11.
If you can see, the numbers all go to 11.
As far as prominent characters go, Captain Faria and Bartos. You know, I'm gonna say this, Draenei names, I'm sorry, not easy for your average English speaker. Those characters are well known, and while they don't have an Uther level legend, their entire race serves as the prominent character. As far as the unique mount goes, I really do like the Lightforged tablet. It's golden, it's armored, pretty sure it radiates light. To me, this is a much better option than the Alex that the normal Draenei get. And just like overall fantasy, you know, their racials are tailor-made for Paladin. You have a holy damage, area of effect, you have glowing tattoos, you have added experience for killing demons. They're the definition of a Paladin who's gone above and beyond the Call of Duty. And for those reasons, that's why the Lightforged Draenei have earned a spot at the A tier. Alright, let's talk cows. Specifically Sunwalkers. So this is a different take on the Paladin lore. You know, maybe you like it, maybe you don't, maybe you're indifferent. I'm kind of in that camp. You know, instead of worshiping the holy light, they revere Anshi, the sun. It's a completely different flavor, and I think it fits the Tauren culture perfectly. It's kind of the contrast to those who worship the moon in their culture, kind of achieving that balance that all druids and all good cow people seek. The only reason I find this particularly uncompelling is that Blizzard hasn't done much with this lore since Cataclysm, so if it was explored a bit deeper, that would be cool. As far as well-known characters, Epony Brightmane is the leader of the Sunwalkers, and Dezco was another key figure in the Mist of Pandaria. They're good characters, but haven't been a major spotlight in a long time. And I'm not sure about you, but I like me some Kodo action. The Sunwalker Kodo is a fantastic and unique mount. You have armor, you have Kodo, you have the Sunwalker iconography, huge flavor win. With all that being said, on my list, the Sunwalkers land at C tier. Last race on the list, the Zandalari Trolls. So, like the Tauren, they have a unique lore. They are the prelates who draw their power from the Loa, specifically Resin, the Loa of the Kings. The spiritual connection gives them a very distinct and almost primal form of the light. But with the death of Resin, maybe they explored a change in the relationship that they have to the light. The Tauren don't have a traditional relationship, and the Blood Elves didn't have one, and then they grew a traditional relationship with the light. So it's not necessarily that there's a huge precedent for this on the Horde to have that silver hand type relationship with the light, but I still think it would be interesting to see them explore that. As far as prominent characters go, the whole group of the prelates, that's the main character. There isn't a single standout individual, but the group itself is cool. Finally, the best part of this race class combo, in my opinion, the Crusader's Dire Horn. It's a golden armored dinosaur. Need I say more? It's one of the best paladin mounts in the game, hands down. It might be my favorite. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but it's up there. And rounding out our list, the Zandalari Trolls also land in C tier. And to be honest, that dinosaur is doing a lot of heavy lifting to keep them from D tier. So that's the Paladin list. One of the original jack of all trades in the World of Warcraft. But talking about jack of all trades, next time we're going to be evaluating the different race class combinations of the Druid. So please tune in for that. Should be fun. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys who have checked out my channel. It's honestly gotten a lot more views and subscribers than I thought that it would receive already. So just thank you for being here if you are here. Thank you for watching. And I really just hope to make content that you guys genuinely enjoy. I really do appreciate feedback that you guys may have, whether that comes in comments, questions, just anything that you guys have for me. I really would appreciate some feedback. Thank you.